I mean, imagine you go all around the world and smash up everything that other civilizations built, loot what they built, pillage, steal, even steal their ideas and their concepts and their philosophies. And then you sit on top of this mountain of stolen goods and declare yourself to be rich because of your own merit. And imagine telling this lie to your children, to your own children, to your grandchildren, generation after generation. How do you think that's going to go? You didn't invest in creating actual merit. You cheated, you lied, you stole, you brutalized. And then you tell your own people that everyone else in the world has nothing and you have everything because of how much better you are than everyone else. How long is that lie sustainable? I mean, these are people who actually have civilizations.
All right. Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off first and foremost by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace, love, salutations to those that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. This your brother Nathaniel coming back at you through the Spirit with another lesson. I pray I hope this lesson is edifying. And here we have this Ishmaelite. I don't know exactly what his name is, but I see him all the time, on social media. And on the outside, he, appears to be an Ishmaelite, but, he could be a Jake. But he consistently condemns the West and the behavior of the West and their history and the things that they've done. And basically the things that, the men of the Great Millstone, starting with our elders and the apostles on down, that have been preaching for 40 years plus, that this guy is a criminal. Esau Edom raped, robbed, pillaged, and stole his way into power. And then he passed laws to keep himself in the power, okay? He stole other nations' cultures, especially that of Israel. And then he called himself those very people that he conquered. All right. So we're going to start off with a quick precept. This is Micah 2, and I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand." Okay, so Esau has, the scriptures talk about Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Okay. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, who and where is he? Roughly paraphrasing. Okay. So, the earth has been given into the hands of Esau Edom. All right. Who is the wicked? Who is the violent man? Okay. And the scriptures talk about that the earth was given into his hand. All right. So because he has the power, he practices the iniquity, the wickedness, and he enforces that wickedness upon the earth. All right. Just like in the kingdom, the righteous is going to enforce righteousness. In the wicked kingdom, the wicked are going to enforce wickedness. And that's why it's wickedness running rampant throughout the world. Verse 2, and it says, "And they covet fields and take them by violence." So it goes in, the field is representation of the world and different lands. Okay, so he goes into these fields, these different lands, and he steals their culture. He conquers the people, and then he says that he was those people all along. All right, he was a British, he was a Scottish, he was, the Australians, whatever land he goes to and he conquers, he becomes those indigenous people. Right? He even is calling himself Indian, the so-called tribes, Gad, Reuben, that were over here. He's even calling himself those tribes. All right. And he's holding on to a lot of the land here in Babylon. All right. And it says, "And houses and take them away. So he oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage." It's his heritage, things that you can go back to, your father's fathers, things that they practiced, things that were passed on to them. All right. He takes that heritage away and says that was his heritage all along. All right. And that's the MO of Esau Edom. All right. And he erases a lot of history. The history is a compound word. People say, a lot of people say his story or his story. So whoever conquers creates history, and they say, you know, they write their story. They write history from their perspective. So Esau is going to write a history from his perspective. Okay, his story, basically. All right. So it says, I'm gonna read verse 2 again. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. You see? So, you know, the rest of the world is, you know, the scriptures talk about how the Lord should remove the covering cast over all nations and the veil that was over all people. So the world is seeing this devil for who he is. This is why the prophecies are revving up, because as Esau is being revealed, the Lord is speeding time up and bringing all of these prophecies into fruition. All right. So we're going to come back because verse 3 goes into the punishment. All right. But before we go there, we're going to finish out this video and grab a couple more precepts, and Lord willing, you know, this video won't be too long.
Who actually created and built and accomplished and didn't just pillage and plunder. And there's still those people today, even though you have oppressed them, there's still those same people. And you're still the way you are. I mean, a good example actually is African Americans. I don't know if you can think of a people who were more held back, more deprived, more sabotaged than African Americans. You took everything away from them and took them away from everything. They started in your country at less than zero, literally regarded and treated as subhuman, not allowed to learn to read or write or anything for hundreds of years. But you see, they come from a people of accomplishment to one degree or another, right? Not a people of piracy and theft and appropriation.
And that was a low way of saying that we were the Israelites, you know, that we're a royal people. We're the Lord's, we're the people of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, we're the Lord's chosen people. And this is why Jake is still in the bottom, but listen to what he says afterward.
They come from a people who created and built and developed in their own countries, in their own land. And even though you did everything that you could possibly do to suppress them, to hold them down, to hold them back, and you're still doing that until today, nevertheless, I don't think anyone can dispute the fact that African Americans have become a global cultural superpower.
You see that? A global cultural superpower. All right, so I'm going to grab a precept on that. All right, this is the book of Jeremiah 10 and 16. It says, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. So everything that you see in one form or another was created, had Jake's hands on it. Okay? Because we're the people of the Lord. All right? I'm going to grab another precept. Deuteronomy, the 15th chapter. We're going to start at the top. Deuteronomy 15. I'm sorry, Slacky. I'm tripping. Deuteronomy 28. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 1. It says, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his things, and to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all nations. So we were originally created to be set above all of the other nations, and we're gods. Jacob is God, gods. Not God, but Jacob, the Israelites are gods. All right. And we're going to prove that through the scriptures. This is the book of Psalms 82 and verse 6. And it says, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High. Verse 7, but ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. So we're literally the gods of this world, but we're falling like men, like mortal men. So we're the creators of everything. This is why he says that Israel is a powerhouse among the nations, even though we are the most oppressed. Because just because we're oppressed doesn't mean that the gifts that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, that godly nature, is still isn't shown. It's still there. It's just that we are under the curses. All right. And if you go back to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and you go down to if you go down to 48, it says, therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies. These are the curses now. So, for context, you can go back up and read verse 15. It says, therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in the want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Okay? And it's one that says, I think it's 54. No. Give me 1 second. I'm looking for, okay. This isn't what I want, but it's close. So like here, I'm looking for a specific precept. This is Deuteronomy 20:33. It says, the fruit of thy land and all thy labors. Okay? You see that? The fruit of thy land and all thy labors. It means everything you create, everything you do. It says, shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed away. So I'm going to read that again. It says, the fruit of thy land and all of thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed away. So when he said that no one can dispute, that Jake is a powerhouse culturally, it's not just culturally. All of the modern wonders in the world came through Jake in one form or fashion, one way or another. Okay? But Jake don't get no credit for it, because what they do, they take your stuff and they take it to the patent office and they get a patent on it and they call it theirs. Okay? And then they control it. All right? And that's what he's talking about right there. All right? So let's go back to, let's go to the book of Psalms. Let's go to 140 and 4. It says, keep me, O Lord, from the hands of the wicked. Preserve me from the violent man who hath purposed to overthrow my goings. So when he said that Jake started off from less than nothing. Okay? Because Esau Edom always seeks to overthrow Jake's goings, because he knows that if Jake, first and foremost, if Jake come together and they start praising the Lord in spirit and in truth, and start doing what they're supposed to do, the Lord will quickly turn this thing around, like it says in 2 Chronicles, I believe. If my people, which are called by thy name, humble themselves and pray and seek my face, then I will hear from heaven and I will heal the land. Roughly paraphrasing. I will forgive their sins and heal them from heaven, roughly paraphrasing. So Esau knows this. Okay? He knows this. So it's in his best interest to keep us in perpetual error, and to keep us overthrown, keep our goings overthrown, keep us in a state of confusion. Okay? And he understands this, but this is also part of the Lord's plan. All right? So we're going to grab one more precept and close out on this. I haven't brought this out in a while, but we're going to bring it out. Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. And I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Verse 5, and that's the just are the Israelites. And behold, his soul which is lifted up in him is not upright. That's talking about Esau. Okay? He's the crooked. He's the one that's been made crooked. It says, yea, also, verse 5, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell. Okay, everywhere he goes, it creates a hellish condition, and is as death. He has no regard for life. Okay, and everything that he does creates a death style, not a lifestyle, a death style. All right, and cannot be satisfied, no matter what this devil gets. The scriptures talk about how he has more than the heart can wish, and yet he still can't be satisfied. All right, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all peoples. So he goes to these other lands and call himself the people. Okay, and at the same time, he puts all of the people under his jurisdiction in all of these other lands. And that is the MO of Esau Edom. All right, he is the wicked, and the other nations are finding this out. Okay. So that was pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and end it off there, giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash. I pray this edifying lesson. Until next time, I can say Shalom.